Hi folks, we're making some progress on the Gen 1 to Gen 2 Raptor conversion. We've installed, because this is not a Raptor truck, but we're installing the Raptor suspension into it. I have installed the Raptor suspension on the driver's side today. I used the factory spindles, which are exactly the same. I used new CV joints, which are about 340 bucks online, so they're pretty cheap because they're longer. Installed the longer tie rod end. It's quite a bit longer than the factory one. And the Fox shocks. Now these ones from the previous owner have been lifted up and set up on the next setting. So I believe it's going to have about a 3-inch, I think it works out to about a 3-inch lift. I didn't specifically want a lift, but we'll see what height it ends up being. That's a longer upper control arm. Of course, SVT lower control arms. And I've got to remount some of this the brake lines. What I did on my other truck was made an extension up for this bracket here, so that I didn't have to replace the brake lines and mess around with different cables and stuff. So I will make that bracket up, and that will solve that problem. Now, another thing that I've been doing over the last 3 days, and it's not an easy job, is this is a 5-litre truck. So I'm going to try and get some light in here for you. Just hold on a sec. Now this is because it's a 5-litre, as you can see, it's got the 5-litre motor in it. I decided to put headers on it. Now, while I had all the front inner panels out and screwing around with it, I thought I might as well. So, not for the faint-hearted, I put headers on it, tune length headers. There is not a lot of room. You got to jack the engine up. It says take the starter motor off on the other side. I didn't have to do that. But some of the bolts are very, very difficult to get to remove the factory manifold. And some of them are really damn near impossible to get to tighten up. It is possible though. You just got to be very patient. They go into the stock catalytic converters. They all bolt up the same. So that's that side. And obviously this side's got the Raptor suspension on, so it's already out about 3 inches on this side. It's going to work out really well with the wider offset wheels and the fiberglass fenders that are coming from Advanced Fiberglass Concepts. This side, now the interesting thing happened too was clocking of these things here. The top of the struts have got this wedge on them because the strut comes out on a bigger angle to meet up with the lower control arm. Now, what they do is, this is for a normal, Gen 1s must have never had a specific frame for the Raptor, so what they did was put these wedges on. Now the interesting thing is, when I went to install it, the wedge was nearly completely around the wrong way to line up, because these bolts are not evenly spaced. They have to go in a particular way. So what I ended up having to do on the other one, and of course I haven't installed this one yet, was pull off this washer here, pull the bottom one off and put the top one on the bottom so that it lines up. Now I don't know whether they drilled the chassis on the other trucks differently, but just something, it was really weird that I had to do it, and I tried every different combination to try and get it to fit, but it just wouldn't fit. But here's a shot of the headers on this side. They actually look pretty cool in there, but man, what a job to get them in. Like the starter motors in behind there, and some of the bolts, you can see the bolts, but trying to get to them is just impossible. But anyway, they're in. You know, you got to jack the motor up, you got to saw the part of the Y pipe in half. Yeah, quite a bit of work, and as I say, you need a lot of patience to do it, but they do fit. They came with new bolts. I'm going to have to re-torque them after heating it up and letting it cool down a couple of times. But next couple of days I'll get the suspension done on this side, and then hopefully at the end of the month the fiberglass should arrive and I should be able to start fitting the panels up. In the meantime, the truck will be rolling, so I'll be able to move it around. The welder cable's not quite long enough, so I've got to get the truck a bit closer to the welder so I can weld up where I cut the exhaust. I'm going to put a different exhaust on it, so get rid of a bit of restriction. If I've put headers on, I might as well do the rest of it. And yeah, so that's about it for now. Just going to wrestle the other side tomorrow, but yeah, it all fits up. All the splines, everything's the same. So the front hubs spindles are exactly the same as between a Raptor and a non-Raptor. So keep that in mind if you want to do one of these projects yourself. Talk to you soon.